Poisonrana.
First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you can never really know what's up next.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for Up Next. You found us on whatever podcast app you're using, and we are
Live on youtube.com/post wrestling. Hello, postmarks. Hello, friends. Oh, no, I fucked it up.
I mean, no, you're right.
Hello.
Hello, friends.
Friends. There we go.
Friends.
We've only been doing this 5 years.
5 years.
By now.
Yeah. Actually, Up Next is officially 5 years old.
Yeah.
So you want to get us a 5-year anniversary? Join the registry at patreon.com/Poisonrana for only $5.
That's like $1 a year. For a month.
Yeah. You could
$1 for each of our years, is what I'm saying.
When you sign up as a friend for $5 a month, you get access for a month to over 500 podcasts. You thinking within a month you could go back and listen to everything? That'd probably be a lot overload of us. Covering all the random shows we did. But yeah, we did turn 5 years old. It all started with a whisper, and it started with John Away being like, hey, you want to do that NXT show again? I said, yeah, but what's next? And now we're Up Next. And then you called me from a hostel in
a hostel bedroom,
New Orleans,
yeah,
from Takeover, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
And here we are.
And here we are, mere days away from conquering the CN Tower after celebrating 5
That's how
years
we're celebrating.
We're celebrating by climbing the tower.
Look how humble we are.
Raise money for
pandas. For animals, people. That's what we do because we are nice people and we fundraise and do charitable work for the animals. It's all about the WWF. It's all about the animals. You may heard Way and John talking about how they may or may not come over afterwards. And John
quite bluntly said absolutely not.
John wants nothing to do with me, it seems. But yeah, we are joining both John and Way this Sunday in Toronto. We live about 3 minutes from the CN Tower outside. We can see it right now. But we're going to be climbing the stairs. And go follow all the socials. It's easier to find the link that way. But, I mean, you can donate like $20 or $25, and it goes for this great cause. And Way has set this all up, and we're just joining in for fun. And we may or may not die. My legs may or may not explode. My lungs might pop.
Well, we've been training because we are the 22nd floor of our condo.
Yeah.
So that's 305 steps. I've counted it as I've done it.
You've counted each step?
Yeah. Oh. But CN Tower is like 1,700, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's 1,776 steps, 144 flights.
Sorry, how many steps?
1,776.
Gee.
A lot of steps.
Yeah. I've been trying to do it every time I've been coming back. Today I did it once only. The other day I did it 3 times.
Nice.
But that's still only 20 floors considering hours.
Yeah.
Triple that. 4
it's
times
a lot.
That. Yeah. So we're gonna be struggling.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be, but we're doing it for the animals.
It'll be, yeah, exactly. You won't let me get a cat. You'd rather just climb fucking tower to help the animals.
Yeah, if you got a lion, that'd be pretty sick. Tiger or something.
I can get a lion?
Yeah. If you raise them young, right?
Our landlord did just say no big dogs.
No big cats. He didn't say no big dogs. You can say big cats.
Have a big cat.
You got a big cat in the apartment, right? Yeah.
Get the BD Jaguar.
That's what you would go for?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Be all right.
Puma, I don't know.
Yeah. That'd be cool. Yeah. So that's what we're doing this weekend. So we're going to be climbing the CN Tower, which is going to be absolutely nuts. So.
And then I guess at some point we're recording a Poisonrana after that on Sunday.
No idea how, because we're gonna do that early in the morning. Probably get some food after and water, hopefully. And then later in that day is actually Impact Wrestling Rebellion.
Yeah.
Just down the street from us as well here in Toronto. So we're going to be doing that show as well. So we're gonna be going there. So we have a long day this Sunday, but
Yeah, it is. I'm gonna need to find a way to nap at some point because I'm closing the night before.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna be doing all this on like 3 hours sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say maybe my chances from not being last went up.
Yeah.
But that's my saving grace.
Although John doesn't sound confident, does he?
No.
I am picturing that. There was that weekend at Bernie's going around.
Yeah.
Of you, me, and
Yeah,
I'm picturing that. With
yeah. He's lucky.
wheeling
phones are
John
banned.
up. Yeah.
No phones in the CN Tower walk.
That's true,
So
yeah.
he's fine. He's good. I can't turn him into a meme. But yeah, we're gonna be doing this. I've never done anything like this. I have asthma and I could die. So this is great.
I have allergies.
This is gonna be fun. So we're gonna be doing.
No, I'm
that.
looking forward to it.
So that's what's going on. Look for us on the Poisonrana feed as well. If you don't know what that is, that's the podcast that me and Davie do over on our own show. Every Sunday we tend to do a show. We just put one out this last Sunday talking about the Wembley show announcements and some dream match fantasy booking and Vince and Triple H and Raw and Bad Bunny and AEW and all that fun stuff every Sunday. So we will somehow fit in a Sunday show this week before we go to Rebellion. So go follow that, because on that feed, Shot in the Dark with John Cena, where he covers everything else in the world of wrestling, NWA, WOW, Ring of Honor, all sorts of fun stuff over there. Impact Wrestling, like we say. And then, of course, Cena and B are going to be, B Detroit are going to be dropping a What Up Doe later this month. But I'm also going to be doing a, kind of cheating, but a 420 detox special with Jordan Goodman. We're going to be joined by Steve Grows Weed.
Nice.
Longtime listener and friend of the show. So we're going to chat all about that. We're actually going to probably go live on 419. But that's close enough.
That's okay.
Yeah, close enough. So that's something for free over on that feed.
I actually just put out a show with Jordan as well.
Yeah.
Last Thursday, dropped a free episode of The Sesh. It was Jordan and I talking about season 4, episodes 1 and 2 of Succession. And I'll be joined this week by Neil Flanagan, our man, to talk all about episode 3, which so far is getting rave reviews. At the moment, currently, it's a perfect 10.
Damn.
It's a Ty Dillinger on IMDb. This episode was huge, and I can't wait to talk all about it with Neil.
Excellent. So yeah, Succession reviews all over on the Patreon as well, dropping. I think the last one you said will be on the free feed.
Yes.
But for now, you want to hear it in the nitty gritty. If you're a fan, that's definitely a show to check out over on the Patreon. Speaking of the Patreon, we just did a Best Match Ever Part 2 covering Rey Mysterio Jr. Because we looked at the best of Rey Mysterio outside of WWE, meaning AAA, Lucha Libre, Lucha Underground, WCW, ECW, All In. What culture? We looked at so much Rey Mysterio outside of WWE, and it was a lot of fun to mark out, go through those matches. We even linked the matches in our Patreon post there, and just go through the career of Rey Mysterio, one of the all-time best, and like easily one of the most like influential wrestlers still going today. So that
it was an awesome show to do. I really enjoyed this.
It was an easy show for us to just go back and watch some of the best, Halloween Havoc, The Juice, what else? Psychosis, so many great matchups. Ricochet, Will Ospreay. We really dived into a lot of that stuff. So that was a fun show. So shout out Rey Mysterio going into the WWE Hall of Fame. We also looked at 2 different WrestleManias before WrestleMania. And this week, I know people are hyped about Super Mario Brothers, that we thought, why don't we review the movie? But the original that came out 30 years ago, Super Mario Brothers. I watched it back today. Holy shit, it sucks.
You know what I want to know? I started this earlier. I have seen this before. I remember watching this as a kid, but it's been so long ago that it's just like...
Yeah, the live
flashes.
action Mario, for those not
Bob
trying to figure it out.
Hoskins.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what's always interested me? Is Mario's last name Mario?
Yeah. Mario.
It's Mario?
Yeah, it's Mario.
And it's Luigi Mario?
Yeah, it's the Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Mario
Is
Brothers.
that what they are? Like, legit?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's always been like that.
Mario.
Mario. It's like, it's somewhat, maybe not common, but that's how they go. Yeah.
There's football player brothers, Gary and Philip Neville. Their dad's name's Neville. Legit. Neville.
Neville.
Neville. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna be doing a Mario Brothers review from 30 years ago. This live action Mario to get you in the spirits for the new one. I actually just watched it today. We're gonna be joined by John Cino from Shot in the Dark because I know he's a huge Mario fan, so much that he just got back from taking his son to Super Mario World in Cali. So he's going to have kind of some reviews on that as well on this podcast. But I know he's already seen the new movie.
I'm very jealous. He bumped into Johnny Gargano.
He bumped into Johnny Gargano, got a pic with him and saw a bunch of other wrestlers on his way back. So pretty cool. So we're going to be recording that this week. So if that's up your alley, that's going to be on the Patreon this week as well. So get that one up with the Mario Brothers review. I found that movie online. Wow.
I think it is on like Netflix and Prime and Hulu in the US.
Okay.
But here in Canada, it didn't even look like you could buy it over here.
Please don't.
Canada are just like, no.
You don't want this.
Yeah.
You don't want to pay money for this.
It's like they're from Brooklyn, right? Mario Brothers.
Yeah, they are in the new one.
Oh, are they?
The new one has like similarities to this one as much as it's animated and Chris Pratt, but I'd say a fun movie.
Okay.
You know,
Looking
I went on a Tuesday afternoon, but it was a fun. You know, I enjoyed it. The effects are crazy. Like the graphics.
Yeah.
These
Did you watch
days.
in 3D?
No, I didn't. I just watched it in regular. Yeah, but I feel like if you watched it in like IMAX or 3D, it would be crazy.
Right.
Just the effects are just so cool. So yeah. The universe. What is it? The Nintendo universe.
Yeah.
Is that going to be like a thing now? Are we getting the end game of Super Smash Bros. The movie?
Yes. Is it the same studios as Sonic? This thing?
It's the same studios as like Despicable Me and Minions.
Okay,
So I don't
but
think so,
it's.
no.
I mean, you've got the. You've had Detective Pikachu, haven't you?
So we're gonna be reviewing this Mario movie from '93, right? Because of that movie, Nintendo were like, "You're never doing a live action version of our stuff ever again," because it was so bad.
Yeah.
Until the Detective Pikachu, which is like again almost 25 years later, which did really well and actually was again pretty fun. Kids love that movie, and that made me think.
I mean, that was mixed as well, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and it also made me go, "Hey, when are we just getting the Pokemon movie now? Because
Yeah.
you could do it live act. You've shown that you could do it. So watch. I will say, as silly, I watched the original live action Mario this morning, and then went to the movies to go see the new one. I almost am still like, what if they did Mario Brothers live action today? Because now you could have the effects.
I feel like you could do it.
I feel like this new movie, as crazy and animated, it looks amazing. Again, ton of fun, Mario Kart and all that stuff. But if you did it live action, it probably could have worked because of the effects.
Yeah, I mean, I feel kind of looking at the trailer, and I've only heard good things, but it feels like I'm watching a video game.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I kind of feel like I'd prefer it to not look like the video games, and therefore live action. I'm still holding out for that Zelda.
One day,
that's the end game for me.
don't cheap out with the animated for Zelda. Yeah, that's all I ask. Let's just do Zelda properly. Like do Link's Awakening, do a whole.
It could be a massive franchise.
Yeah, I mean, after the success, they're saying this Mario movie is the biggest opening for any animated movie.
That's
ever.
nuts. That's crazy.
Because think about it, it's like people like me or you who are like older grew up watching this. There's people who are even older than us who also grew up playing the games, and now just kids animated. So it's it's
well,
for
I heard
everyone.
John Pollock took Max to see it.
Yeah,
but as you said, it's like it's going to appeal to adults because you grew up with Mario, and kids are going to like it because it's
lots of Easter eggs.
Fun,
lots of Easter eggs. I'm surprised there wasn't like a game to go with it because it was pretty fun. So look forward to not talking about the new one, but we'll definitely talk about the new one. Talking about the old one with Bob Hoskins, just great stuff. Which that movie just makes no sense. I'm excited to talk about it because those are always our fun reviews. We're gonna dive into some NXT. I've definitely felt like now that the dust have settled, WrestleMania weekend and things like that, I'm a little wrestled out. So this felt like a chore. This NXT. Not that there's anything wrong. There's a few things wrong. Not that there was a lot wrong with this week, but this week hit me like, oh, I'm wrestled out.
I'm very tired this week. Like it's, I think we burnt ourselves out with WrestleMania and it kind of hasn't really stopped since then with work and lives and more wrestling and stuff. So I kind of felt the same. And that's not a comment on tonight's show really, because I thought there was some quality stuff on tonight's NXT, but I definitely found it a bit tough this week, but
Yeah.
more to just being a little burnt out.
We have the city bumping for Jay's home opener.
It was,
here
yeah.
today, and the new light up Sky Dome, which the other week we were like, whoa, this looks pretty cool.
Looks like a spaceship.
Yeah. So anyone looking maybe for Forbidden Door weekend, you know, Jay's be around. That's a good travel double shot. Because I know we're thinking of doing SummerSlam this weekend. This summer as well. And what they have the Tigers, or Tigers. That could be pretty fun as well.
The Lions, yeah.
Lions. Oh man,
Lions are their NFL team. Tigers are their. Do they have tigers as well?
Yeah.
Bears? Do they have bears? Oh my!
Oh yeah, they got all of those things. But yeah, I know people are in the city right now are geeking over.
Faithful, yeah, that's the.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay, I'm sorry. As I said, I'm tired.
Did I say Tigers and you were like, listen, the Lions?
No, I know the Lions are their NFL team.
Right, yeah.
And it's playing at the NFL stadium, no?
SummerSlam's at Ford Field, right?
Yeah, which is where the Lions play.
You need to quit while you're ahead right now. You're having this. Do you need me for this conversation? The Lions is where they play here, where the Tigers don't play.
No, what I'm saying is,
I don't know what you're saying.
we're going to. Where's SummerSlam at? The Lions or the Tigers?
Yeah.
I think we're both right in this thing. We're just confused.
We're arguing
Yeah,
with
the Lions play at Ford Field.
Yeah, I didn't debate that. Yeah.
Okay. Where do the Bears play?
I don't. It's not even. The Bears is Chicago.
Yeah.
Nice. Good job.
And the Cubs?
That's Chicago.
So they have Bears and Cubs. Yeah, that makes sense.
Again, do you need me? I'm trying to think. I think there's nothing really else left to talk about. Again,
there's NXT.
There's NXT, yeah. There's Raw, obviously going forward with Backlash. I actually am pretty hyped to see. I know the stuff with Bad Bunny definitely has me hyped for anything like that. So we'll be checking out that show. Kind of circling back to some things that we're doing this summer, because again, summertime's like around the corner. The weather's feeling great here, at least in Toronto, and like trying to get tickets for concerts and wrestling events and stuff for the summer is all that stuff. But we do have some things planned. We did talk about that Wembley show, but are we, if we're all in it, are we gonna like do some sort of thing over there across the pond?
I hope so. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think there's gonna be a lot of people in town for All In. So I think absolutely watch this space. I'm sure over a few different podcasts you may listen to, there might be some stuff coming together. I'm super excited.
Yeah, and same goes for Forbidden Door weekend here in our hometown of the 6, and for All In later this summer. Like, hey, if you're someone thinking of planning and doing stuff like that, why not? Because we may or may not be, well, we know we're going to be here. We may or may not be somewhere else and doing a lot of coverage, SummerSlam as well. So lots of fun stuff, and follow our socials for all this stuff, because we don't bite. We're always open to making new friends at a lot of other events, and we'll be hopefully throwing some events this summer as well. So it's going to be a fun one for sure. But now we can talk about some NXT.
Let's do it. NXT from April 11th, 2023, live from the Capitol Wrestling Center in Orlando, Florida. And Carmelo Hayes, our NXT champion, starts things off. He comes out and says, Bron, everything between you and I was supposed to be about respect. I let my guard down, and it won't happen again. Defeat is lonely. I get it. I've been there. And if you thought raising my hand was a passing of the torch, you're wrong. You didn't pass me anything. I took it. And all these people don't want you to be your don't want you to be number one. They want Melo. So we're going to be doing this for a long, long time. And WrestleMania weekend was just the first chapter. So I am going to grant you that spot in the 4-way tonight. As been announced, there's going to be a 4-way to determine the number one contendership. And Melo said he wants Bron in that. But that's when Dragon Lee comes out, who's already been announced as being part of the 4-way, and says, congratulations, and shakes Melo's hand. I understand you want revenge, but I came here to fight the best. And that title says that you are the best. And it proves that when Melo shoots, he don't miss. So you want Breakker after I win tonight. So you want Breakker, but after I win tonight, it's going to be you and I at Spring Breakin'.
Yeah, I mean, a lot to unpack there. Spring Breakin.
Rippin' chicken.
Breakin.
Yeah.
Breakin. I mean, kind of silly. Braun's not the champ anymore, so why is it Spring Breakin? Because the break-in was Bron Breakker.
That's
right?
true.
So yeah.
It's we've still got a show called SmackDown, you know?
Definitely
4
having
years after From the Rock.
I mean, well, SmackDown was such a term before.
It was the Rock's thing.
Like a lot of non-wrestling fans would also know that term, I think, beforehand. But I totally agree. But Spring Breakin' definitely not one of my favorite. Like,
it's a TV special. It's
I guess,
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool that they like set up the Fatal 4-Way a few days ago, like using social media, just simply saying, "Hey, Dragon Lee's in this match," which is like, okay, cool. Mello pretty much playing like puppet master here, saying, "Hey, Bron, like you can be in the." Even though Bron kind of turned on him, he did. Mello's still. They're really going for the Mello babyface now.
Yeah,
is definitely what they're pushing.
Yeah, absolutely no sign of heel from him at all.
Yeah.
There are times when like Trick is kind of interjecting where I kind of notice maybe Mello has given him a bit of a look because, you know, now he's trying to be a bit more honorable and stuff, that he doesn't want that guy chirping in the background. I thought Mello sounded good here, and I thought Dragon Lee sounded good here.
Yeah, well, JD comes out too, right?
So Mello then says, "You're a phenomenal talent, but never interrupt the champ. And you're new here, so I'm going to give you a pass. But if you win, I'm not wearing this because I look good. I'm wearing this because I am the best." And that's when JD interrupts and says, "When you're champ, you got to keep your head on a swivel. 1 week with that title, and you got laid out by Bron. And if it was me, I'd have just come out and headbutted you in the face. Ego is loud and confidence is quiet. And I don't need all of this because it doesn't impress me. Because I know when the bell rings, I am number one." Mello says game recognizes game, but you have to get over that rainbow before you get this pot of gold. And acknowledges, yes, that was a leprechaun joke to JD. And that's when Grayson Waller comes out and announces that he is also in the Fatal 4-Way. He says, "Oh, you all thought I was finished? Well, you guys are dumber than you look." And I'll translate for Dragon Lee and this crowd and calls them El Stupido. And tonight I'm winning the 4-Way, and a real superstar will take that championship from you, Mello. And Mello ends by saying, "I see a whole lot of thems, but only one."
Yeah, so definitely, again, pushing Mello as the more of a baby face, still having a bit of an attitude, like cockiness, but definitely toned it a lot down. Waller bouncing back off the Johnny Gargano commentary, playing it off like, oh, it was unsanctioned.
It's unsanctioned, doesn't count.
Yeah, it didn't count as a loss really, but everyone was talking about that match, so therefore he earned that spot, which does make sense. JD and Dragon Lee, I mean, both lost this other match, but I mean, okay, they're still two big names here.
But Dragon Lee, like, this is only his third match tonight, and just automatically being like propelled into this main event mix.
He already is over.
Waller.
Yeah, he's already feels big. The crowd are already behind him as well. Like, you could hotshot him. Like, it clearly worked to do it this way. He feels like the hot new toy, where NXT hasn't really done that. So he's like the one that feels special. So I'm hyped for this match. And at this point in time, we assumed Bron was going to take that spot because Mello said that, but that might change.
We see Kiana, James, and Fallon Henley backstage, and Fallon says, "We're up next, so are you good?" And Kiana's like, "No, seeing that you tried to ruin my relationship, but Brooks and I are good, and you know what, tonight, I don't want goody two-shoes Fallon. I want to see yeehaw bitch Fallon." And then they start to argue, and Briggs walks in and tells them to focus on the match and not each other, and Brooks isn't going to be there at the match tonight because he doesn't want to be around Briggs or Fallon. Because they kept on meddling.
So yeah, he made a stand, like, I'm not coming out there for your match later. Could cost them.
We see Soul Ruca on TikTok, where she's I couldn't tell who this was. I think it's another PC talent who's with Ruca, but they're trying kind of acrobatics and stuff in the car park.
Handstands.
Yeah, on each other's shoulders. When Tiffany Stratton interrupts and says that you're doing all this in my parking lot. And so Ruca's like, it's a public parking lot. Like, no one cares about you or that you are best friends. Go away, leave my parking lot too.
Tiff just claiming the parking lot?
Yeah.
Does Tiff know what this NXT is? She basically saying that she's the one who's attacked anyone? If she's saying
maybe it's a way of keeping safe, like as the owner of the parking lot.
If she's the owner of the parking lot, she's been doing a terrible job, but I don't think she's just like, yo, this is my, like, get out of here. I don't want
space.
But yeah, saying my parking lot.
So yeah, another kind of TikTok thing in NXT setting up a match for
which again, everyone in NXT is developmental. They're a lot younger. They use TikTok, I'm sure, and if not, it's a good way to get, like, you know.
It's a good way of, you know, like the Tony Khan thing of why is there a camera there? I mean,
yeah,
we live right by the CN Tower, and we see everyone there TikToking every day. And the amount of weird stuff you'd probably catch on a TikTok there in the city. So, like, I kind of like that as a device.
Living in a big city, personally, you can't walk anywhere without someone filming something. The other day, like today, I'm at a movie, right? The movie was just starting, and some guy came in late with his friends, and he starts like doing like a vlog, like going into Mario, and I'm about to yell, like, bro, shut the fuck up. You're at a movie. You don't need a vlog that you're at a movie. Like, what does this world come to? And you see wrestlers always posting lately, like, do we really need tripods at the gym?
Yeah.
And it's like, what's going on? Do we really need to? Everyone can get their friends or themselves getting caught with their finger up their nose on TikTok or social media, but we still can't get solid evidence of Bigfoot. So
yeah.
Really. But yeah, it makes sense in this show, like Degrassi NXT, with them using TikToks and creating stories. They've been doing it for
It works. I think it's good.
They've been doing it for a while. I like it.
And it's thank you, Fyre Frank, who says it was Danny Palmer.
Danny Palmer, yes. They promoted
Ruca.
Yeah, they promoted her last week, kind of saying coming soon.
And then we go to our NXT Women's Tag Team Championship match. Isla Dawn and Alba Fyre defending against the former champions, Fallon Henley and Kiana James. Fallon comes out the gate right away with a Luthez press to Isla as Kiana takes Alba out on the outside. Fallon and Kiana like working together quite well to start with some quick tags. And this is when we see in picture Brooks Jensen arrives to the arena.
This is like Stone Cold showing up. The attitude there.
He looked great with his flow, his mullet.
The flow, baby.
There's a double spear in the corner from Kiana. Fallon then tags in and hits this like nice running, almost like an axe kick to Isla, and then delivers her slide, like baseball slide punch, like Brooks and Jensen do, as Kiana hits a standing moonsault to the floor, which looked nice. During commercial break, the Witches get in control. Kiana counters the gory bomb into a pinning combination for a 2, and then Dawn and Fallon are tagged in. Fallon hits this nice looking springboard into a wheelbarrow bulldog, and then a leaping blockbuster that she doesn't quite hit.
Yeah, she usually hits a really nice one, but
the wheelbarrow bulldog looked really nice. Henley and Dawn are then going at each other with roundhouse kicks. Dawn goes for the gory bomb, and it gets countered into a destroyer.
Yeah,
which looked awesome.
So we're just allowed to do destroyers in WWE now.
Yeah,
they've been everywhere for a while now.
It's been in WWE for a while now. You can't still hit just a regular power driver.
If you flip first,
it's safer.
Yeah,
apparently. This is when Jensen runs out and hands Kiana's handbag to Fallon.
Yes,
telling her to use it because the ref's distracted. And she throws it right back at him. She's yelling, "What are you doing? Get out of here!" And then the ref turns around, sees him in the ring holding the handbag, so sends him out. "You are out of here." And as he's leaving, Josh Briggs is like, "Yo, man, like, what the fuck?" And Jensen shoves him. Shoves his best friend.
Oh, no.
And this allows Isla Dawn to hit a roundhouse kick to Fallon Henley, followed by the backstabber into the swanton from Alba Fyre for the win.
Yeah. Damn. I mean, really heartbreaking to see our boys, Brooks and Briggs, getting a little bit of a tussle there. I mean, Brooks getting hot and shoving his own friend. I mean, what does this world come to, as we're talking about here? This is
He's
sad.
like, he's entering like his teen years now, isn't he? He's stalking, "Mom, stay on my business."
It's a little complicated. It's like if Fallon and Briggs stayed out of his business to begin with, maybe they would have still been champions.
Yeah.
If Brooks just listened to Kiana, maybe they still would have been champions. Sometimes, playing dirty. As Booker T on commentary is like, yo, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Like, come on. Like, he wants to help her to win, and now he's realized that's how they can win. But I hate
against these witches as well. Like,
you'd figure at least we're not getting. I'm knock on wood here, because at least we're not getting like witchy finishes. Like some like Bray Wyatt,
Magic.
Ultimate Warrior, like Papa Shango stuff. It's coming, but
no, I'm still intrigued by this story. Taking another step now with Brooks getting kind of physical with Briggs. I don't see it being a split up, or at least not yet. I think it's more like a brothers fight kind of thing.
Yeah, well, look, we've done up next for 5 years now, every week talking about NXT, and since Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs showed up as this team on TV, we've been so like joking about them since the barbecue flip segment promo things to their matches, and they've just totally improved. We've watched Briggs for a long time, but to have B2's kid here, it's been fun to watch them, and the storyline is definitely something that's like intrigued us way more than it should have, but we've been hooked. And now that they're teasing, like, could you imagine Brooks Jensen leaves and becomes all business?
Yeah,
like JBL version. It works with Kiana and G.
Yeah,
he's moving on up, and they're like, wait, what do you do here? I'm in a very important business.
He'd be more of those like where's he from? I'm thinking like a Dallas businessman.
Oil.
The like that thing. I'm doing the string.
Yeah. What are those string
thing
things?
With the bull horns on it.
I feel like I would rock that really well. Yeah.
I didn't think the match was too bad either. I think these four are four of the stronger women in the division, and I thought they had quite a nice match here.
Yeah. You know what? I like Alba, Fyre, and Isla Dawn. So I'm actually, as much as they're witches, hey, I like witches too. I like spooky stuff. Sometimes in wrestling, it can go well together. So far, they haven't done over-the-top witchy stuff that I can't get mad at. And their wrestling is pretty cool. Considering that finish is pretty sweet, I still think that other move is even cooler, though. That Gory Bomb Flatliner, should be the real finishing move because it's so sweet. But yeah, Scotland is running rampant with the NXT Gold.
Yeah.
Tag Gold.
And speaking of which, we get another Scot right here. Noam Dar kind of just advertising the Heritage Cup, kind of going through the rules and how...
Wait, Noam Dar is Scottish?
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I couldn't understand him talking.
He's Scottish and Israeli.
Okay, yeah, right, that's right.
And yeah, kind of going over the rules of the Heritage Cup and how you need stamina because it's rounds competition, and he's obviously held this cup for a while. So kind of confirming what they hinted at last week, that they're bringing this Heritage Cup to NXT, will be defended under these rules.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good idea to have little side missions in NXT like this. As much as I'm not about rounds, it can work. If you do look back on NXT UK, he had a solid run and some great matches. We covered it on our best match ever, NXT UK, when we poured one out, when the show went debunked and when the Queen passed. So we talked about Noam Dar because one of those matches was like one of the best matches from NXT UK. So I will give it a shot. I have been a fan of this guy. And I'll tell you, if Shawn Michaels, Triple H, or Vince are too scared or can't afford to pay for Oasis, they're gonna miss out, because then Tony Khan might for All In. But like,
this is true.
The Champagne Supernova here.
Well, he used to come out to Morning Glory.
Right. Yeah. It worked for him when he used it on the Indies.
I kind of like that NXT do this sort of seasonal stuff. Like, you get up to, it's like Dusty Classic season, you get up to Breakout Tournament season, and like introducing the Heritage Cup as well. Like, don't see it being like an all year round thing, but I think little tournaments here and there tend to work for me.
I'm for it.
Easy booking. Well, usually.
Yeah. As much as I hate rounds.
We go to Duke Hudson's MVP award ceremony.
MVP.
And Andre Chase is saying that at Stand and Deliver, our chips were down, but Duke Hudson went above and beyond and earned the distinction of MVP. And we've not always seen eye to eye, but the one thing we agree on is that we will be together side by side and for the better of Chase University, and show those no good motherfuck as Duke stops him and says, hey, it's live TV.
Come on.
and they award him the MVP award, and Duke is very happy. Cut to the crowd and see a big Duke energy sign. Which
BDE.
BDE. Duke says, I don't like award ceremonies. I don't want all the attention put on me because it's not chase me, it's chase you. And
that line popped me so hard.
And he says, at the biggest event NXT has to offer, I took everything this university represents and I put it on my back and took us to the promised land. And it was a group effort. I merely was the one who marched right to the face of evil to conquer. And Andre, thank you. Thea, thank you, I guess.
Yeah, a little hesitant to think Thea there.
And I am Chase U's MVP. And he starts to get everyone to stand up and starts the give me a C, give me an H, give me an A, when he's interrupted by Bron Breakker. It's a bit surprising here.
Yeah.
And Andre Chase is like, yo, Bron, come on, man, you're interrupting something really important. And Bron says, there's the #1 contender match later. And people ask me, why are you not in the match? And it's because that championship is just a curse on my career. And I don't need the approval of these scumbags anymore. You're going to see a side of me you've never seen before. And if anyone should take my place tonight, Duke Hudson, it's all yours, man. And Bron offers his hand, and Duke looks hesitant and shakes his hand. And so Duke Hudson's now in the match later. And as Bron goes to leave, he then turns and charges and delivers a huge spear, a massive spear to Andre Chase, as Duke kind of just leaves him with the trophy.
Yeah.
And Bron rips the flag in half.
Oh, not a supporter of Chase U. Kind of weird that Bron interrupts this and then just says, hey, I don't want this anymore. Which is like, okay.
Yeah, like, what did you understand from, like, the curse? I kind of felt it as maybe a line like, I've been tied to this title for the last year when I should be doing bigger things on the main roster. Is kind of what I took from it.
Okay,
like, and therefore enough. I don't want to go for this anymore.
Yeah, see me in the draft in a few weeks. Don't care about this title anymore.
Kind of, that's what I kind of took it as.
Yeah, maybe that's a way around it. At least it kind of worked with the storyline of Duke. He kind of said, hey, look, it's why chase me when I can chase you? But it's like, really, Duke? Because you're kind of saying, like, hey, I'm the best here.
Oh, everything here. Yeah. It was like false sincerity. Like, it's like it was a team effort, but like I'm the one who did it. I put everything on my back, but as a team, I thought it was quite. But I totally see this now becoming a Duke U down the line.
Duke U, that is already a university.
Is it?
They do really well in basketball.
Oh, nice. So, but yeah, again, this story it's ridiculous, but it's.
Yeah, this one's more ridiculous because it's about a fictional university. Or is it fictional university? But now Bron just coming out here being like, I don't give a shit about the NXT title. Duke, you want this match? Yeah, take my spot.
But also Duke taking it, like, leaving Andre Chase here.
Yeah.
His justification is, I can bring gold to the university, and that's good for everyone. So I'm not going to risk myself helping. And that's what you would want, Andre, isn't it? Because you want gold.
Crunch time for Duke U. It's exam season.
Yeah, exactly. And that spear looked awesome actually this week. He's got a good one.
We'll be seeing it on SmackDown, I imagine, very soon. I think Bron is definitely an easy pick for one of the drafts.
I think so. I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
We then have a bit of a vignette from Gigi Dolan where she's sat outside her old shitty house, basically.
Yeah, this is very, Jenny from Forrest Gump or Eminem from like his house. Whenever someone's like, hey, look, see this shit house? Yeah, I lived in this when I was a kid and I escaped.
She says, this is where I grew up and that window is where I used to look up and out and it would be me and my brother wishing for bigger and better things. And my mum said that I basically never deserved to be happy and would never achieve these things. So one day I left and I never came back. And JC Jane knew all of that about me, and she broke my heart and my face, but will never take my will. Like the rose on my arm, I came from something ugly and bloomed into something beautiful.
She also quotes, I was talking about Oasis earlier, but she quoting some Smiths here with, "I am human and I deserve to be loved just like everybody else does." How soon is now? So Gigi is saying, "Hey, I fought a lot to get here." I think it's giving her a bit more story. At least it's something, because I mean she lost. I imagine we do go to another JCGG one-on-one encounter, spring break-in maybe.
I like it. It's a bit kind of what's the word, like kind of retrospective, kind of telling her story, but it does make sense. Like she came from this, and the whole toxic attraction thing is, you know, trying to fit in, but now we're getting like she's gone through that, and now she's who she really is. Yeah. And I thought she sounded pretty good here, and it is a good story, and you know, like didn't she have like a little YouTube documentary or something about her back when she was Priscilla Kelly, and kind of covered all this?
Yeah, there was something where she kind of explained her story a little bit. So,
I know they covered it a bit in the Mae Young Classic, I feel, but I think it's good they're bringing it back. I like this.
Yeah, for sure.
We see NXT Anonymous, who's posted this video on Twitter from over the weekend when Pretty Deadly were leaving, I assume the PC. Stax and D'Angelo just beat the shit out of them and throw Elton Prince in the trunk of their car and drive off.
More kidnappings?
We never see what happens after the kidnapping, do we? We always see them in like the boot of their car, and then next week they're free and they're like either spooked or mad about it or whatever.
Yeah, the only time we actually saw a kidnapping like afterwards was when Rick Steiner was in the cage, and if you ask me, was released way too early. But I feel like we haven't had a kidnapping in a while, so it makes sense. I know Legato, LWO are doing bigger and better things now on SmackDown, but I think they've kind of lost, you know, what brought them to the dance, and that's kidnapping. So I'm happy that I still get that on my Tuesday nights.
I kind of want to see, like, in between this, like, whenever NXT Anonymous tweeted this out, say this a few days ago, then Shawn Michaels, like, calling Tony and Stax and be like, Tony, Stax, you can't just kidnap people.
Yeah, what do they do?
Where's Elton right now? Oh, he's still in the boot. Mike, let him go. Like,
do they like throw them out of the car when they're driving?
Exactly,
What do they do? Do they drive them somewhere and like leave them?
Just go over like loads of speed bumps, basically. Just fuck with them and then leave them.
Yeah. Did you ever get to have that happen to you? I know my friend did that, not to me, but to his friend. He basically, we all were hanging out one night. He was DD, and then just decided to like, hey, let's get out here and like look at this. And then we all did, and then he's like, yo, get back in the car. And then I did, and then he just drove off and left his friend. And then we went back. Like we turned around eventually, but I was like, wow, that was really mean.
When I went to Austin, we went to this I think it's called Hippie Hollow. It's like a clothing optional beach.
Oh.
And
sounds really good.
We were chatting to this naked old woman called Billy, who used to be married to a German priest, and she's just smoking away, and she's like, so where are you going back to? And I'm like, downtown, and we're quite far out. And she's like, oh, how are you getting back there? Like, oh, just gonna Uber. And she's like, no, hop in my truck. Do you mind if we go to a bar first? I'm like, sure. So, and there wasn't that much room, so I was in the trunk with someone else, the boot.
Wow. And
we went to this bar, and things got a bit weird after a while, so we got our Uber. And like, let's not say our goodbyes. Let's just go. It felt like if this was a movie, the dark clouds are starting to come over and the music changes, and you're like, okay, let's get out of here.
Yeah, but I've never been kidnapped.
No.
Good.
I'm glad.
I do know that a buddy of mine, when he was getting married, that a bunch of friends orchestrated. Like, we all told him. He knew he was meeting someone for like a coffee date or whatever, and then when he showed up, while he got out of his car, everyone else showed up and like put a bag over his head and kidnapped him. And then like when we took the blindfold off, we were at like a party.
Nice.
He's like, oh, okay. So like, I did ask him like, hey, you know, at first, did you understand what was happening? He's like, the first like minute was like, yo, what's going on? And then I realized, oh, it's my friends kidnapping me. It's fine. But
there's those things though, you can pay, can't you?
To get kidnapped?
And
I mean,
the
internet's
it's
wild,
like surprising you and stuff. And
it's not at all.
Like, I wouldn't want to be the person doing the, because if I got kidnapped, I'm like, I'm going to fight, you know?
Yeah.
I don't want to accidentally like, you know, kill you and Sino just because you're trying to throw me a stag party or something.
You. I don't think no one's kidnapped me. I'm big. No one wants that job of carrying me. So yeah. Hope I don't like kidnappings, but I do like them on Tuesday nights.
On wrestling, yeah.
And when Tony D'Angelo, so we never really got, you go circling back here. We never understood what happened because Pretty Deadly are on the show later, like, it's fine.
Yeah, Kit Wilson's free, and Elton Prince is just driving around Florida in the back of this car.
Yeah, like you get kidnapped and thrown
It was
into
a
like
vicious
a swamp.
attack though. Like
Crowbar.
Stacks came in with a crowbar in it. They were like gonna murder these guys.
For Stacks and Tony, like they're like in the segment later, they're always like they got the styrofoam hot coffee, like they're drinking coffee. Like they should use that as a weapon, like kidnapping.
Coffee. Yeah, I like his Sergio Tacchini tracksuit.
Oh, I don't even know what that is, but
Yeah.
it sounds nice.
Yeah. We go to our next match. It's Javier Bernal, Big Body Javi, taking on Eddie Thorpe in what this is his second NXT match, I believe, now.
The DJ / wrestler.
Yeah. They actually gave quite a lot to Bernal in this match. I was quite surprised. It started off with some nice chain wrestling between the two. They start running the ropes, and Thorpe catches him with a crossbody. This is where we see Damon Kemp shows up on the ramp, just watching on.
Remember him?
Yeah. Bernal sends Thorpe to the outside and then delivers a sliding clothesline for a 2 count. Bernal keeps on going for a Boston Crab, but Thorpe keeps on rolling through and comes back with a nice enziguri, followed by a jumping elbow drop, and then Bernal catches him with an inside cradle. Thorpe then hits a snapdragon, and then the the twist and shout?
Yeah,
Shake round.
yeah, twist and shout. Yeah, the spinning neck breaker
For the win.
You know what? Eddie Thorpe, definitely, like, I've watched him in New Japan when he was Carl Fredericks. I didn't think too much of him. He was very bland. So when he comes into here, they're pushing like his background with the, like, what was the videos before with the Northern Lights and the DJ kind of background, which apparently, like, he is legit a shoot DJ, so that kind of fits in, I guess. He instantly looks cooler and definitely stands out a lot more. But now I'm like, okay, what wrestling can you do that definitely stands out? Because you said, hey, Javi looked kind of good here. I'd say they both looked on the same level.
Yeah.
And it didn't necessarily make me think Thorpe was the star here.
No, I think this was, if anything, this showed the most from Javi we've seen. I thought he really, like, held his own here and looked pretty good. I kind of put solid but dull for this. I thought it was, and that's kind of the impression I've got so far from Eddie Thorpe. I think he is pretty solid and like maybe a bit more advanced, but there's something just that's a little dull.
Yeah.
And I think this crowd kind of took it that way because maybe they're not so familiar with Eddie Thorpe, and Bernal is positioned as a comedy jobber most of the time. So again, I thought there was not much fan reaction here. There was some nice wrestling, but didn't do a whole lot for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Gallus, Tank fucking Ledger.
Tank Ledger?
Tank Ledger.
Yeah, not to be... don't confuse Tank with his friend Hank. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tank and Hank connection.
Hank, Frank. Yeah.
Too many Hanks.
So, Tank Ledger. Who's Tank Abbott? He was a wrestler.
He's a fighter, right? Tank Abbott? I don't know. Should I pull up the WCW encyclopedia and find him? Yeah, I'm sure he's in there.
So, Tank Ledger is having his photo shoot when Gallus walk in and stop him. And he's saying, oh, I'm just taking my photos because I got my debut in a few weeks. And Joe Coffey says, well, I just made my return last week and I want to fight. So, challenges him to push his debut up to tonight. And Robbie Brookside and no, it was Norman Smiley, I think. And is it Oni Lorcan? Is he back there as a producer?
He's a producer now?
Right, okay.
Yeah, I thought it looked like him.
Yeah, they kind of pulled them away when Schism come in with Rip and Jagger.
Yeah, shoes off for Schism.
So they haven't been granted their release, at least not yet.
Yeah, I mean, there was some people reporting. I read that a few weeks ago that they were, and then a few days later, people were like, no, they're still there. So I'm not too quite sure. Some people are saying maybe they did get them granted, and maybe they're just filling out some time on the contract. But either way, they're still here. We've been very vocal about these guys for years now that when they made this change in the last year or so, that was kind of a waste for the character that they organically built. And I think they could be a bit of a bigger deal as that characters, but instead they're stuck here. These names.
So we've seen. They say basically Gallus picking on others to make them feel better.
Yeah.
And challenge them to a match. And yeah, they say we're not asking, we're telling. So they're saying that they want a title shot.
So GYV asked for their release, and instead next week they're winning the titles.
Maybe. I did notice that, like, they have over the last few months been dropping the accent they were putting on.
Yeah.
And I didn't notice the contact lenses for Rip.
Oh.
Whereas, like, James Drake, Jagger Reed had dropped them a while ago, whereas he's still been wearing it. Now they're in the kind of t-shirt and the jeans. I think maybe it's slowly transitioning a bit and be like, okay, where can we have these guys where you're happy? Maybe.
Yeah, they were very, like, going very gothy, rave, something. Now they're just going back to Hot Topic guys, and that's cool, I guess. But I'd like them back with the scarves.
They could be on the way out, and maybe it's like, hey, do you mind, like, wrapping up this story, perhaps? Or maybe they're winning the titles, sticking around.
Strap them.
Yeah.
Let's go. Shoes off.
We see scripts in a red room.
You know what just
writing.
Makes my day when this fucker's on TV. When I see scripts is still a thing that they have not given up yet, brings joy to me. It makes me laugh. It just makes me so giddy. And here he is with the filter on his voice again.
Yeah, and it's like he's almost in like a photo red room.
Right.
Except he's writing.
Red room, scripts.
And he says, talking about Axiom, he says, he knows his biggest fear, and he's looked into the present and the past, and looking in the mirror, he sees the man behind the mask. But you can't expose me because I am exposing you. Sincerely, Scripts.
Sincerely.
So, like, it's kind of felt like this whole time, Axiom don't give a fuck about Scripts.
No.
Like, Axiom's been, no, I'm going for the
North American
title.
He really clowned him when Scripts went to fly at him and he caught him in midair and just, nah, get out of here.
So this is like, you know what this reminds me of? You know, in like your Batman comics, you've got like your A stories, like your big Joker arc going on. And then
you got Calendar Man.
And then, yeah, exactly. You got Calendar Man and Egghead just for like a one-off issue where like they're prodding at Batman the whole time. And he's like, okay, yeah, I'll fight you.
Sure, Scripts.
That's what it feels like here.
Yeah, Scripts with the way it's shot is almost like a Batman villain. Just a really poor Batman villain. And he's still writing. He's using the pen, and we're going to get to this match. Honestly, the most exciting thing that could happen is if he does expose Axiom. Like, you're a kid this whole time. You've been a kid. But
you think that's what he's gonna do? He's gonna J. Jonah Jameson.
He's kind of he's saying that. So, I mean, but he's saying I'm gonna do that to you. But what if Axiom just goes, yo, yeah, well, you're fucking Reggie.
Honestly, at this point, I kind of feel like you should put the mask on Axiom.
Yeah,
I kind of like it.
Mask versus mask match, and Scripts gets his mask taken off, and people laugh at him because he's Reggie, and you probably never see him.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Yeah, sincerely, the BDE.
Yeah. We go to our next match. Tiffany Stratton taking on Sol Ruca. They had a really nice kind of acrobatic kind of match here.
Yeah, I mean, these are two, for those maybe who don't watch week to week, Sol Ruca and Tiffany Stratton, for me, just from watching the past little whiles. Tiffany's definitely a bit further on, I'd say, character-wise for sure. Tiffany, future WWE Women's World Champion. Sol Ruca, quite possibly the same path. I see big things for both these two, and seeing them here face off is something that I think in years' time you will see them face, probably on a bigger stage, or we'll be looking back at this like, hey, remember when they briefly tangled up here? Because I just see big money for Sol and for Tiff.
Yeah, I kind of hadn't realized that these two are quite similar.
Yeah.
Until they went up against each other, and I thought it made a really fun match.
This was Ospreay Ricochet for NXT.
Honestly, I was thinking the same. Like, I mean, that's like giving a lot of praise, but it had that kind of feel where I think people are gonna watch this match, and there are gonna be people that criticize it for not being wrestling and it's just doing some choreography and acrobatics for the sake of it. But hey, I quite like that stuff.
Yeah.
And for me, it worked. So yeah, starts off with some nice running of the ropes. They're both kind of backflipping and handspringing out of leg sweeps that the other person is going for. Tiff does Sol Ruca does a moonsault off the corner, kind of like the Daniel Bryan, Pete Dunne-esque over the head.
Yeah.
And then Tiff does a double jump moonsault, backwards roll over Sol's head. They're just both backflipping at the same time and everything, the standoffs. Tiff then offers her hand as there's a bit of a stalemate, and Ruca's like, okay, go shake her hand, and Stratton kicks her in the stomach and hits a standing moonsault for a 2. Stratton then starts to target the left elbow and shoulder of Ruca.
Yeah, great like arm twists and shoulder breaker type things.
Sol comes back with some shoulder tackles and a double underhook suplex, followed by a big power slam for a 2 count. And then Stratton hits her with the you can't escape, like the rolling senton into the prettiest moonsault ever to pick up the win. But yeah, I thought, like, you had Mello kind of saying at the beginning of this is chapter 1 of, I agree with you. I can see these two following each other, like, right up to the main roster if they stick around, because I think both have so much potential and have shown so much talent and improvement in such a short space of time in NXT.
Yeah, like, again, Tiffany's been here for a bit longer. She had the daddy's girl character, which she's pretty much evolved on for. Like, yo, I'm not daddy's girl anymore. Like, I'm becoming my own woman, and she's definitely stepped up. And I see her potentially being someone, if you don't put the title on her here, like, put her on the main roster. She just has the look, has the wrestling. I know she has the prettiest moonsault ever, which, again, great name, but the you can't escape type maneuver needs a name too to go with it. So don't know what that, like, the clueless. I know we were saying the swipe for some, what was her old finish, but she had the money clip, obviously being an Okada fan. She definitely knows her New Japan finishing moves. So I don't know. I see big things, and social media has been telling me that Tiffany may or may not be in a relationship with Marcel Bartel. And I mean, what a great ring camp to be in there, because you're going to learn everything from the trick of the trades from those guys. So I, again, see big things for Tiffany. And Sol, you know how much I love the surfer gimmick here. She's more newer here, but every time, like, gets better and better. This was my favorite part of the show tonight, just because I do see big things for these two, and they had some fun little back and forth.
It's really exciting to see where these two can go, and kind of compare this to the Eddie Thorpe Javier Bernal match, which was probably technically better than this.
Yeah.
But this, both from character and kind of stuff that they can do, which feels modern, like current, exciting to watch. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, no, love these two. I would put the title on Tiffany next. I think she should be the next champion, but regardless, Sol Ruca will be a champion here down the line. I loved Booker T on commentary saying, sometimes, these two stepped it up. Tiffany entered that ladder match. She didn't win, but, she stepped in there. And these two at any moment could be, step into a bigger spot. And Booker T mentions that sometimes you got to step in, because years ago, Rick Martel one time forgot his boots. I stepped in and I became champ. So sometimes you got, and then he just started going off about best TV champ ever 5 times, just going off. And Booker T, yeah. So Booker T also loved Sol Ruca and Tiffany, but this definitely reminded me of, like, hey, this is, for people who watch sports, MLB, you have your feeder systems, or hockey, you have your, like, lower tier things, or your developmental is literally this. But some people who are really into that, you see some, like, prospects of that. And when I watch certain people, these two definitely come to mind. So love this, really did. Even though it was just quick, but loved it.
No, yeah, it was one of my favorite parts of the night, for sure. We see Duke Hudson with Chase U backstage, and Duke says that Chase sacrificed himself so that Duke could go on to this championship match, and he'll be the first to bring gold to Chase University. And you see Chase kind of nursing his wounds and still looking at him kind of, I don't know about you.
Yeah.
You see Diamond Mine, Ivy Nile with the Creed brothers, and Ivy says, it's been divide and conquer, and I took care of Tatum, and now it's back to just us three. And the Creeds issue Gallus a championship match for next week, and say that they're not finished with Gallus yet. They're kind of pissed at Joe Coffey and kind of costing them, so they want a title shot next week. This is when Tiffany walks in and asks for an interview and says it was another victory for the center of the universe. And how am I not number one contender? That fascinates me. I've beaten Indy twice in the last month, and she's therefore the most beatable champion ever. And Mackenzie asks, oh, is that another Tiffany epiphany? Tiff looks at her and goes, ew, gross. Toodles. So, yeah, like we're setting up to Indy and Tiff down the line.
Which, yeah, Tiffany has beaten Indy a few
Right,
times,
yeah.
so, yeah.
This is quite funny when they're advertising WWE 2K23, Vic's plugging it, and Booker's like, yeah, I'm in this game. I'm in this game. Are you in the game, Vic? Are you in the game? And Vic's like, no, I'm not in the game, Book, but you know who is Cora Jade? And out comes Cora. Like, Book, why are you taking these unnecessary?
That's so weird, yeah.
It's pretty funny, though.
Yeah, I mean, is there NXT? Maybe he's in the game.
They
somehow.
usually just have one commentary team, don't they?
Yeah,
Games.
I guess, yeah. But
Poor
yeah,
Vic.
I didn't quite understand.
If it was No Mercy, you could have you could have won him. Probably.
Yeah.
Had all the commentators on it.
Yeah, true. Booker T's overall rating is 88, so he's pretty good.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
It was funny. Someone at work the other day was like, it's actually the guy who runs karaoke.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, I'm slowly catching up. He asked how the WrestleMania part. I just saw the Royal Rumble. I'm up to the Royal Rumble. It's like, oh, okay. I really enjoyed the women's, and then went, why was Booker T not in it long enough? I was like, well, he's not really a full-time wrestler.
Yeah.
Man, Booker he should have been in there way longer. All right. Big Booker Fit T fan.
Someone was just telling me too that there's a hidden King Booker in the new game too. So maybe Booker T knows about that and was kind of. Someone was saying, yo, there's a hidden King Booker model that you can unlock somehow, some way.
Okay.
That's like, so that means there's two Booker T's in
Right.
this game.
Which has the high rating.
I mean, probably Booker, but King Booker became champ.
I think the saddest one is, I don't know if it's in this game. I think it might be in 2K22, where like Shawn Michaels sort of 2006, something like that, is like, let's say a 90. And then you've got Crown Jewel, what's the guy from Home Alone? Yeah. The neighbor in Home Alone, Shawn Michaels, with the old man Shawn is like a 70, and
they
like,
knew.
Oh man,
they ribbed him for
sad.
sure. They ribbed him for sure. They were like, "Get out of here!" Yeah.
So Cora Jade comes to the ring and she says, "Do I have everyone's attention now?" Those words seem similar.
I've heard that before.
Familiar? Yeah.
Is that Wednesdays?
Yeah. And says, "It's time to start humbling people. I am the most athletic woman in NXT." Sorry, says Zoe is the most athletic woman in NXT. And there are things that you can do that I can't. But one thing you'll never be able to do, and that's because you'll always be the challenger and you're never the champion. And Roxanne, my old bestie, I put you on the map the moment I put that tag championship on your back. And I knew what you went through, but how long are you going to have to use it as your crutch? And you're just proof that some of us are better at handling the pressure than others. And Gigi, I thought you'd crumble when you left Toxic Attraction, but you didn't. But you did lose the ladder match, and that title that you almost had your hands on, says Cora Jade. So go on and leave, and don't let the door hit your Instagram famous ass on your way out. And then Tiffany, you look the part and you play the part better. But here's an epiphany. I run this place and not you. And then Lyra, I don't know much about you, and I don't like birds. Which I thought was quite funny.
Don't blame her.
Yeah.
I don't like him either.
And in that ladder match, you showed no fear. But if there's anyone you should fear, it's me. And so, Indy, it took you long enough to win that title, but this is my NXT, and I am the hero of this story. When she's interrupted by Lyra Valkyria, but maybe, what did you think of Cora's promo?
Yeah, I didn't mind it. I think this is she's been kind of MIA for quite a while, I think she's pretty good. It's funny with the little CM Punk thing. She's done a lot of CM Punk stuff throughout her NXT career so far, with that whole history of her being a huge fan of of Punk. It was fine. It was definitely better than kind of the last few times, and she's basically calling everyone out, which is like heel thing to do, even if they're heels. But I don't know. Has the ship kind of sailed? Like after you weren't there, you haven't been in any women's title matches, and now you're just like, yo, I should be the champ. It's like, yeah, but you haven't been here for what feels like more than better part of this year.
Yeah.
So like a Tiffany is someone who's totally eclipsed you here, where she's become the bigger like star, and like call me crazy, but I still can't get over paper skateboards. So like you need to do.
You've got to get over paper.
You need to do something a bit more. Like anyone can come out and like run down your opponents, but you still kind of haven't. You're also like, yo, Roxanne. She's mentioning the anxiety that Roxanne is like, oh, like you have anxiety, like I do too, and I get that. Like she's almost like, hey, I understand. It's like.
Well, she's going like, you can't handle the pressure, whereas I know how to handle it.
She does like the backhanded compliments to everyone, right? But
I felt like, I think her delivery's good, and I kind of like these kind of promos where you're just running down everyone, but just the content was a little weak, and it is definitely easier when you've got like, you haven't got that sort of PG-13 filter on it, when like, an MJF does this and brutally cuts down everyone and has some absolute zingers. Whereas here it's like, yeah, you're athletic, but you should fear me. And it's kind of all kind of empty criticisms of everyone. So I think you need to be a bit smarter with, if you're doing this kind of segment where you're running down everyone, be a bit better than I don't like birds.
That was my favorite part.
Which was the best line in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like when you're hearing, as you said, doing the CM Punk thing, the CM Punk would eviscerate someone, So this is when Lyra Valkyria comes out, the bird lady, and says, you can cut through the division with your tongue, but what's the reason? Is it because in your absence, the entire locker room took a step forward, and watching Stand and Deliver didn't cause you a bit of jealousy? And if you want to come back a House of Fire and be like hot on the mic, is it you want to come back and just be hot on the mic? Because that championship isn't going to be anywhere near you, or I'll rip your eyes out. And then Cora slaps her. They start to fight. Lyra hits her with a kick and then goes for a huge like roundhouse when Cora just ducks and kind of runs away.
So maybe we're getting this match finally.
Yeah, like this is what they were setting up before Cora took her absence. And Lyra kind of pointing out maybe what you were saying. It's the rest of the division has stepped up, and that Roxanne Cora feud kind of did feel hot at a point, and never really, they had the match, but you always felt like there was a bigger match coming, and it never did. And now it feels like that ship's kind of sailed. Like the title isn't on either of them. It's Roxanne, I think, is going up soon.
Yeah, like where does it leave Cora here? Because now everyone like would assume, hey, if Roxanne were to drop it, it would be to this mega heel of Cora Jade, when I think someone else has kind of taken her spot here, when a few others now might be able to slide in, leaving kind of what do we do here. So this was a somewhat of a reset. You could still have her challenge Indy, like you could get that route, but you just had Tiffany doing that, so we're getting some sort of multi-person match.
Yeah, although maybe Tiffany's the challenger for Spring Breakin', like a short-term story. Cora's one, none of us have really talked about potential of call up.
I don't see it yet. I don't think it's at that level yet. Especially I can't really recall some of her last big matches necessarily hitting the same as well. So I still think there's potential for Cora Jade. I think she still can be a good talker, but you're right. Like what she was saying today was kind of boring.
But I do think we've also seen from other people in call-ups that you don't often expect as well.
Right.
Like Alexa Bliss comes to my mind, who, was there in NXT, was never particularly featured, was nowhere near the title scene. And then they moved her up, and she was great in that first year and became like a big star. I just, like, I feel the women's division on the main roster are lacking on both the heel and babyface side at the moment. And if you are moving a Bron, I don't know.
Yeah.
They do keep couples together these days.
Yeah, it's true. I mean,
I agree. I feel there's more time for her down here that would be beneficial. But
would it be so wild and crazy to have an on-screen like heel couple, like at this point?
Try what they tried with Cross and Scarlett, but hopefully have it work.
Yeah, somehow you could do that. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, talking about going back to call-ups, Satomura, like now or never.
Again, yeah, we haven't seen her.
Casey and Caden, or sorry, Katana and Caden.
Yeah, I feel you could move.
A few.
There's so many who I just see also being another Tegan Knox, Mia Yim. You know, just these bland bodies
That
on the
they're
main
not
roster
using,
that
yeah.
they're not using.
Yeah.
Yeah. We see Wesley backstage, who's being interviewed by Mackenzie, and she tells him that he's closing in on a record number of title defenses as North American champion.
Wow.
And he says, I do this because I have to remain on point. And many of the old North American champions are on Raw and SmackDown now. And this is when Gulak and Dempsey interrupt. And they say, I'm highly impressed with your high-flying ability, but how will you fare when you're grounded? And Wes is like, oh, you're bringing up the old, Clash of Styles makes fights kind of thing. And Dempsey says, no, it's no debate, because how can you jump around when your ligaments are torn? And Wes kind of doesn't seem phased, but the match is set next week, Charlie Dempsey, Wesley, which is Dempsey's biggest match on NXT so far. So,
absolutely.
And Wes has been absolutely killing it in every defense. So this one actually has my interest.
Yeah. When Drew stepped up, I was like, okay, Drew versus Wes could be cool. But then, no, okay, Charlie's obviously the William Regal Jr. is the pet project here. I know I mentioned that Regal Jr., Charlie Dempsey reminds us of Butch, Pete Dunne.
Yeah.
But I get real Kylo Ren vibes from Charlie Dempsey. The way he sounds and talks as well. I'm like, you kind of sound and look like him. So, like, you think you're more badass than you are because you're young. You don't know yet. You don't know the true power of the dark side. But when your father teaches it to you properly, like, you'll unlock it. I get that from him.
Yeah. His father, who left the other company to work with his son.
Yeah, to work with his kid.
I called that, didn't I? I said that was bullshit. I'm like,
Yeah. What's William Regal up to these days?
Main roster.
Looks like it.
For now.
Yeah.
For now.
The Blackpool Combat Club coming into WWE. We got it right here with Drew and Dempsey. But...
Yeah. We go to our next match, Von Wagner versus Ilja Dragunov. And if Wagner loses, Robert Stone will drop him as a client. There's a big boot immediately from Wagner.
Ooh.
Wagner actually comes out the gate looking pretty good here.
I mean, you have Dragunov selling for you. That makes it look good.
There's running splashes in the corners, clotheslines, a huge Beal from Wagner. Dragunov then comes back with the Constantine special and then hits his deadlift over the head Dutch style suplex, which doing this to the big man looked great. We have seen him do this to Gunther before, but still very impressive on a big guy. Does his diving forearm to the grounded opponent and then finishes Wagner off with Torpedo Moscow. And after the match, Stone says, "We're done," walks off, and Wagner didn't even do anything about it. I was sure he was going to put Stone through the table here, but it was actually, Stone leaving with the power here and Wagner just looking like a big old goof.
Oh, man. Yeah. Come Tuesdays just won't be the same without Mr. Stone and Vaughn. But, I mean, everything Stone's been saying to him has been true. Storyline-wise, kayfabe-wise, shoot-wise. He's like, yo, what do you do? The only thing is come Tuesday. The only
come
thing
Tuesday
you got,
and you growl.
And you're so angry all the time. And, you used to be out there, but you're not anymore. So he left him, and Vaughn's just okay with it. So what do we do with the incredible wrestler known as Von Wagner? I don't know.
I really don't know at this point. If I know it's story, but if Robert Stone's dropping you, Robert Stone's story since he's been in this has been everyone loves him, and now he's dropping Von. I do see some elements with him as the athletic big man, but there's just at this point it feels like he's been there a little bit now. And there's been no progression at all. I don't ever buy him as a viable contender. Like, he'll get the odd title
They throw him so many
match here and
They threw him
there.
in so many of those. Yeah.
He's like Kane in that kind of aspect where it's like, oh, we need a defense for our babyface champion. But I don't know. I don't see call-ups being on the card. This guy.
I mean, he just doesn't have anything.
Unless all I see this guy being is, like General Aziz kind of character, where
Right.
he's just someone's muscle.
Yeah, it would make sense. He's got to lose the vest.
Yeah.
He can't be looking like Aladdin or Pinocchio or anything. But he could join like the Schism. Could join like if they lose someone, he could join, like there could be more of that stuff, Chase U or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I know he's had his main event or superstar slots a few times, and I don't know what's going on with
Like all I see him is like a heater for someone. Like if you move up Grayson Waller, have this guy as just his muscle, his protector, his diesel, basically.
Yeah.
We'll see. But I don't see the charisma of a Kevin Nash.
No.
Or anything.
No, he does not ooze that type of machismo for sure. I mean, Ilja is another one. Like, what are you doing here? He's just floating around. You put him on. I guess you don't want to put him on SmackDown because that's where Gunther is, right? But you put him on somewhere, like you're just sitting on gold. But they would not want to try or test the waters with such a character on main roster, I would imagine.
I mean, Gunther's worked,
Yeah.
and I'd say Gunther is the closest to an Ilja.
Yeah,
You've got, like English speaker, but second language, a style that you wouldn't really think fits main roster, and it has worked. So I do see it working for him down the line, but I think maybe you could. I think a Carmelo Dragunov match beforehand would be nice. I think there are some big matches he could.
It's just unfortunate. I think he's probably one of the best bell to bell dudes in this company, not just NXT, right? And there's just so many dream matches, but it's almost like people aren't ready for him yet. People who don't know about him, you've checked out, cherry picked some of the stuff that he's had with Gunther for the past few years. It's like they're just cooling him for something, but it's like, okay, when's that time coming? You've struck it with Gunther, but you can't just do that again. You need to wait for years to let them fight again. But they're sitting on something. I mean, good
doing that like right away on the main roster would
get people
know him right away.
Maybe.
And even in defeat, like you could do it exactly the same as you did before, like Gunther Open Challenge and who's this guy, and then just have one of their classic matches. I see that being more likely a few months ago as I do now. Like
Dragunov, Charlie Dempsey, William Regal, and someone else as a combat club of their own. Because this guy needs to be slapping the shit out of way more people. Oh, yeah. And I love to watch it. So I know he's beaten Von Wagner
here.
He's
got to fight Sheamus, doesn't he?
He's got to fight Shamey. I know he's so much smaller to some of the bigger guys, but I guarantee he would.
But that's the appeal, I think,
fuck them
of him.
Up. Yeah.
We then hear Dijak's music hit, and Dragunov's looking up the ramp. And he was a smart babyface here because he smiles because he's like, I know he's behind me. Turns around, Dijak's there. Says, you say the pain makes you feel alive. Well, that's great. I'm going to make you immortal.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, hey, cool. We're going to this match.
This will be great.
Yeah, we're just saying
match should be
this
awesome.
Guy needs bigger stuff to do, and this is a bigger fish to fry, which Dijak versus
Spring Breakin'.
Yeah, this would be pretty cool and probably a show stealer.
Yeah,
on that show. So looking forward to this for sure. Some hard justice.
Yeah. We see Hank, who's checking on Tank backstage ahead of his match.
Hank and Tank.
And the Hank and Tank connection.
Yeah, Tank.
Because I was Tank one of his security guards at one point?
Yeah, maybe? They're both security, I think. So Tank, for those somewhat keeping score, Tank, I believe, Tank Ledger is the man bun security guard, right?
No, man bun was last week. It was the lawyer, Saul Goodman.
Oh, I thought this guy also had one before. No,
I mean he's got the hair,
right?
I don't know. I think classic man bun was
right.
Whoever that guy was, Luca. I don't.
But Hank and Tank.
So Hank and Tank, and Hank, his job here is just telling us that Joe Coffey's really good. He's like, Joe Coffey's been a top guy everywhere he's gone. And so you've got to prove yourself tonight, Tank. And we go to the match. Tank Ledger versus Joe Coffey. Tank comes out and he's got like his like all his accolades. It's saying he's the first ever next in line signee
Wow.
for WWE. It's showing kind of his athletic background, how much he can squat. It's kind of I kind of like this if you're doing this for all your next in lines. I think it showed 3 people last week, right?
Yeah.
Tank, Danny Palmer, and I can't remember the other guy.
Right.
But I think this is good. Like show why they've been signed, like their credentials and stuff.
Yeah.
Weird gear, got the kind of Nikos Ricos thing going on here.
Oh man, shout out Nikos Ricos. If you're a long time, you know who that is. But Nikos Ricos, the iconic I got Zack Ryder. Was this like
it's the one leg sleeve with the other short pants.
Yeah, how would you describe Tank Ledger? He's like a Otis almost, not quite.
He's kind of like a bigger Joe Coffey, actually.
It's like a bigger Joe Coffey.
It's that kind of very solid barrel shape body, but not fat, just solid meat.
Yeah, thick meat, white dude in Zack Ryder style gear. Yeah, I mean,
black and yellow.
Hank was like, yo, when I debuted, I would just wore my Seth Rogen gear.
Yeah.
My shirt. And
I mean, at least he's got gear. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I'm like, is it better or is it worse than that? Because this is
Nikos remember,
Ricos.
His debut was meant to be in 2 weeks, so maybe they just hadn't finished the other leg yet.
Let's hope that
it was meant to be tight.
Let's hope that's the story. Yeah.
That's the one I'm going with.
Oh, radio.
Yeah. There's a big backbreaker from Joe Coffey. Joe traps the arms and starts to headbutt Tank when Tank manages to lift him up and hits the over-the-head belly-to-belly suplex. And this is where Vic is like going, oh, that's very kind of Big E-esque there.
And, well, we know better than mentioning Big E or the New Day around Booker T.
Yeah.
Who instantly ignites that feud again and goes, Big E.
Big E.
What the hell, Booker? What's going on? This doesn't even sound like a
well, no, he's mad because the Rumble spot just didn't happen.
Yeah. He's like, Big E. Just like, again, dismissing him.
There's a cartwheel and splash combo from Tank, and then Joe clocks him with a big left-hand punch and hits his running double forearm to Tank that sends him into the steel steps. And then he hits the all the best for the bells, the discus clothesline twice to put Tank away.
So, sorry, was this the best of the bells? Rock the bells?
All the best from the bells. Or he actually tweeted a few years ago now. Was it from October 13th, 2016 from Joe Coffey. My finisher is Aura best for the bells. And he's written it like phonetically. Then, or in English, all the best for the bells. Not Black Coffee, not Death Wish. Insert Iron Man coffee pun, but all the best for the bells.
What does this mean?
I don't know.
I'm searching all the best for the bells, and all that comes up is
Joe Coffey.
Joe Coffey's.
I don't know.
But what's best for the bells is best for the...
It's like a discus lariat kind of thing.
Yeah. Joe Coffey gets the win since he's now come back to NXT or Gallus and all that. You know what? Tank didn't look too bad. He had like that overhead belly to belly. He had some big man moves, so I definitely wouldn't just rule him out. Pretty impressive for his first like big TV match, and nothing like blew me away. It was two kind of meaty men slapping meat, but I am interested to kind of see Joe Coffey. I think Gallus have been given like a pretty big opportunity as of late, and bringing him back into the mix. This mix could potentially bring them up to even bigger kind of pastures, possibly main roster down the line. So kind of like, nothing really happened in this match, but you know, it was just a match for Joe to beat him. But Tank got a lot in.
I thought Tank showed promise here. He looked very like a Joe Coffey actually here. Just a bit bigger with those power moves and stuff.
Tank the Tank.
Yeah, I think they've done. I'm still not completely sold on Gallus, but they have been kind of pushing them quite a lot recently.
Yeah.
And now the unit's complete. We'll see where they go. I do see Joe being a big challenge for Wesley down the line.
Okay. He's good to the last drop. At Joe Coffey.
After the match, the Creed brothers and the Dyad run out. They start brawling, and they're brawling with Gallus. And we later see that next week it's going to be a triple threat tag team championship match with the Creeds, Dyad, and Gallus.
Yeah, so I mean, look, the Dyad lads, GUIV, have a chance. The Creeds could eventually win them back too. There's a lot that could happen.
Do you see a title change?
I don't know. Like, I'm kind of, Gallus is somewhat proving themselves a bit more than I think people were giving them credit for. I think it's just the new finishing move.
Yeah.
I was down on them changing their generic, car commercial sounding theme song, Welcome to the Jungle theme song ripoff. But now I'm like, okay, let's see what you can do. Because people when they get opportunities like this, they can fumble the ball. But so far, they've just get improving. So that's kind of good for them. So far, so good. But Gallus lads, what is it? Gallus boys on top? Yeah, let's go with that.
We see Tony D'Angelo and Stax backstage when Roxanne Perez walks in. He's back. And she says, I needed a break after Stand and Deliver, but I'm back and I'm ready.
Was she in the same room as them? I'm just checking.
And Tony and Stax basically say, look, if you ever need someone to have your back, like...
Oh, I didn't know Roxanne was Italian.
Yeah.
Is she? She's joining the family?
She's Latino, isn't
That
she?
would be pretty sick if...
But they're like, hey, we'll kill for you, Roxanne.
Yeah, we'll murder someone.
We've got your back.
Yeah.
No need to be anxious when you're here.
Anxiety? F that. You want someone murked? You want someone cleaned out? We got you.
And Zoe Starks walks in and starts to mock Roxanne. And Roxanne basically says, look, it's people like you that make people like me try to hide from their anxiety. And I want to be someone to stand up to it. And I'll see you next week. So we've got a match Zoe and Roxanne set when Pretty Deadly jump Tony and Stax. And they're like, yeah, you thought you'd beat us up and throw Elton in a car boot? Yeah. And actually, this was maybe the meanest Pretty Deadly of looks, actually. I quite liked it.
Yeah, this was them like stepping up a bit because they were pretty pissed off that they got kidnapped, I guess. So kind of, like you said, a bit of an edge here for Pretty Deadly, hyping up this potential. Is it this next week?
Yes. Sorry, no, they didn't announce this. Yeah,
this could be Spring Breaking.
Spring Breaking, maybe some sort of gimmick.
Yeah,
hardcore match.
I can't even try to put a mob and a Pretty Boy
a car boot match,
kidnapping match. Yeah, last ride match.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, do it.
We go to our main event. It's to determine the number one contender for the NXT Championship at Spring Breaking. It's Grayson Waller taking on Duke Hudson, JD McDonagh, and Dragon Lee.
Yeah, pretty cool. There's a little snapshot of kind of what's going on in NXT right now. And like we mentioned earlier, Dragon Lee being the hot new toy coming in here. Grayson Waller, hot off the feud with Shawn Michaels and Johnny Gargano, which I think a match that people kind of got lost in the shuffle from the last weekend. I mean, obviously we did a review of Stand and Deliver, and that match definitely did stand out, as did that five-way, which both featured Dragon Lee and JD. So like a lot of these guys coming out of this weekend, like pretty hot off some big matches and some good matches. So I understand why Waller would be put in here, and well, really understand why he's in this match. But then Duke kind of getting that big main event singles slot here in the four-way.
And I actually felt after that kind of MVP segment, and knowing this is a title match in 2 weeks, and this isn't for like Battleground, like a PLE or anything, it kind of made me think Duke had a chance to win this as well.
Yeah, why not, right? You could have done that. And then, he could have an effort lose, and then that's when his big freak out happens or something, right?
Yeah. So yeah, fatal four-way. It starts with Duke hitting a double suplex and then dumps Dragon Lee. He's basically taken out everyone. Dumps Dragon Lee on top of JD and Waller. Lee hits a beautiful looking tope con hilo as JD then hits a springboard moonsault to the floor onto Dragon Lee. Duke then goes for a big dive but gets caught by the stunner from Grayson Waller, and all break up the pin. Waller then does his like through the legs elbow drop to Duke, but Duke starts to hulk up and does this huge toss on Dragon Lee, and then a big Uranagi to JD. Starts getting the MVP chance. It's so old school Duke's wrestling, like very 80s small, just hip toss body slam, but it really works, and I really enjoy these segments, and the crowd do get behind his his like Hulk up spot and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he does the Hulk Hogan because it's chase you, right? But you're right. And then he does have some whispers of flashier stuff.
He hits the slingshot German suplex, which always looks nice.
Yeah, that move is awesome.
And Waller breaks up the pin. And then Duke starts hitting these like electric chairs.
Yeah.
So he hits one to Waller. He hits one to Dragon Lee.
And I mean, guys, if you know us, someone puts someone in an electric chair, it either goes one of a few ways. And we were counting. All right, he hit one. Oh, he's going for Dragon Lee. Well, you know where that's going. Nope. He hits it on Dragon Lee. Okay, he's going up for... And JD counters it into a Poisonrana.
Beautiful Poisonrana here.
They're all beautiful.
Dragon Lee comes in with his bicycle knee to JD. And JD kicks out, which this has been kind of established as Dragon Lee's finish. So big kick out spot here.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Duke then goes to the Razor's Edge, but it gets countered into a Rana from Dragon. He'd clearly been watching his best match ever, Rey Mysterio Jr.
If he only did his homework like we did and look at all the classic Rey Mysterio lucha matches, that if you try to hit a luchador with the Razor's Edge or the Splash Mountain, it's gonna get countered.
Dragon Lee then hits the sit-out powerbomb to JD McDonagh, goes to the pin when Waller stuns him with the stunner, and just falls on top of Duke Hudson. Sorry, I think the powerbomb was to Duke, which was impressive because Lee is so much smaller than Duke. So Waller falls on top of Duke Hudson, 1, 2, 3, picks up the win, and is your #1 contender.
And then does a shoey afterwards. And has a face-to-face with Mello at the end to really cement that Mello is now the babyface champion here in NXT. Really fun match. I thought the finish was very similar to, well, a few spots were similar to that 5-man match from Stand and Deliver, because especially the ending when everyone's hitting moves and now they're getting countered in midair. Yeah. So like as soon as Dragon Lee hit the powerbomb, as he's getting up, he's hit with the stunner. So it's coming out of nowhere, which is pretty fast and pretty clean from a lot of these guys. So yeah, really fun match. Definitely like the actual match of the night on this show, with some great variations of, you could spin off these guys into mini feuds. I would imagine Dragon Lee versus JD is the singles match we're getting probably at Spring Break-In or something. Yeah,
they like, honestly, NXT has a really good, solid like top 8, I'd say.
Yeah.
And these multi-man matches, they've kind of got down pretty well now. That 5-man that 5-way at Stand and Deliver, I thought was excellent.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the matches of the weekend. And I thought this was really fun too. I think Waller is a good choice. Just like a really established heel to go against Mello. And again, like, it kind of makes me think maybe if you're doing this at Spring Break-In, maybe that is an opportunity to call up Waller after this. I know I'm saying that about a lot of people, but I think he's perfectly ready. I don't think he really needs to hold the NXT Championship at any point. I think this guy is just ready to walk into the main roster and maybe do the Mellow match at Spring Break-In, and then in a few weeks, once the draft has happened, call this guy up to SmackDown or Raw.
Yeah, team up with The Miz.
Yeah.
Reality star. Team up with Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Something like that. He definitely has the chops. He's very unlikable in the best way. Like you start getting to love to hate him. His wrestling definitely improved. The match with Johnny. If you have a good match with Johnny, if you don't fumble that, then you're good in my book. So Waller definitely.
I know you shit on the rolling stunner thing a lot, but I like it as a heel actually for moments like this.
Right.
And I think it's when it worked in the Iron Survivor. You know, when he came in and picked up those 2 falls right away, because it is the sneaking the win at the end instead of the classic someone hits their finisher and you throw him out the ring and get the pin. It's you dive in, hit the stunner, and steal the pin that way. I think it works quite well. He's been timing it better, maybe.
Yeah.
And Dragon Lee once again, I thought looked awesome.
Yeah, Dragon Lee is someone like who's come in here. He could have shown up on AEW or whoever, like he has, but like coming
with his
in
brothers.
Yeah, with his brothers. Who's Dragon Lee related to?
So I found this thing on it was this wrestling page, Wrestling24 on Facebook, and this poster called Yaz. I've got to read this out. This is about Dragon Lee, Roosh, and Realistico, the 3 brothers. So they're real life brothers. We know Roosh from AEW. Yeah. Realistico's been there and in ROH.
Right.
But Realistico was actually the original Dragon Lee. And after the original Mystico left CMML to join WWE, Dralistico, at that point Dragon Lee, became the second Mystico. So his brother, who is our Dragon Lee from NXT, became the current Dragon Lee. And the original Mystico became Sin Cara, the first Sin Cara in WWE. But there's another Mystico who later had to change his name to Mystico with a Y due to legal reasons.
Ah, yes.
So when the original Sin Cara, also the original Mystico, was released by WWE in 2014, Mystico with a Y, who then became Hunico, replaced him to become the second Sin Cara in WWE. And then the original Mystico came back to CMLL and became Caristico, which is a combination of Sin Cara and Mystico kind of put together. And then the second Mystico became the current Dralistico, which is a combination of Dragon Lee and Mystico. And then after departing the WWE, the second Sin Cara, who was Hunico, is now Cinta de Ora in honor of his late master, Cinta de Oro, who also took the name off another wrestler who also used to be called Cinta de Oro.
Sorry, can you repeat that? That's insane. That is insane. That's
So
crazy.
confusing.
Oh my god.
And then
no,
throw
please,
a
no
curveball
more.
of Dragon Lee but going by Ryu Lee for the last year or whatever.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, true. Wow.
He's a really good wrestler. That's all you really need to know.
Wow.
And I think we've got the good brother here in NXT.
We got the good one.
Yeah.
I like all of them.
I
Don't get me
do.
wrong. Yeah. Wow, that is some crazy connections there. Wow, bravo.
But yeah, I'm kind of with you. I thought this was actually. Are you all right there?
I'm still unpacking everything you just said. Yeah.
It's like a Game of Thrones, like family tree kind of thing.
What are you saying right
Yeah.
now? But it does make it's crazy, but I believe it. Like that's nuts.
But I mean, I guess it's the whole mask thing of taking that character, or
Yeah.
I don't know, and then nuts. I thought this was actually a pretty solid NXT, but we've come off the peak, which is stand and deliver, so we're like back down at rebuild.
Yeah.
And I've definitely felt the fatigue this week, but I thought you had some good segments moving stories forward. I really liked the main event, and I really liked that Tiffany Sol Ruca match.
Yeah, I really liked the main event here. Dragon Lee is instantly fit in. I'm looking forward to his single matches or whatever matches, really, because so far he's very impressed. I'm interested in the Duke Chase U storyline because we need Duke to finish the story.
Finish the story,
and
Duke.
See what happens here. Like, I don't want him to leave. In fact, like, bring that whole unit eventually up as a team. Like, they're teasing it so much that maybe something has to happen. What else? Joe Coffey coming in back is cool. I'm interested to see where Gallus can go if they do retain the titles next week. But either way, like any team next week could potentially use that opportunity being champs and run with that.
We saw Bron with his first proper heel promo, the first glimpse of him as heel, and I thought he sounded pretty good.
Yeah,
tonight.
Bron Breaking Bad
Yeah.
essentially here for the first time. Sounding, if you just watched or had NXT on and closed your eyes, Bron Breakker cutting his heel promo was Scott Steiner. He sounds exactly like Uncle Scott there.
Yeah.
So, like some changes to the show and characters kind of flipping there with Mello being the babyface, which I think will have some hiccups, but eventually get there as well because the crowd seems to love him. But I still enjoyed this episode, and going forward, the silly storylines are the ones that are still like keeping me entertained. So can't wait to see what happens with Brooks Jensen.
Yeah.
As always, our guy. That's what we thought of NXT. There is some feedback.
There is some feedback, yeah.
There's a Poisonrana Facebook page. You can like it, but it also leads you to the group, Poisonrana Facebook group. Join that. We post feedback threads every Tuesday, amongst other things. I'll read the first one here from Fyre Frank, the reigning defending BDE champion. Quote unquote, I'm not a big fan of birds. Show was fine, but Booker was on another level tonight with his champagne wishes and caviar dreams. Braun sounding like Big Papa Pump, and the second on the mic is a good thing. Briggs and Fallon still bad friends. Duke had a big night. Roxy joining the D'Angelo family needs to be a thing. And the four-way was fun. Dijak and Dragunov will slap. Mello versus Waller sounds good, and shoeys for all.
We go to Dave Parker, who says, don't think they should be going to Waller so soon because I don't think he should be losing the big one just yet.
Yeah, I mean, lose it and then go.
Yeah, I think that's why
Take
I
it
do.
and go.
Yeah, get the match done.
I was doing the shoeies early tonight. He ain't going to be doing them in 2 weeks. We go to Megan, who writes in, a solid show. Braun's heel run is off to the right foot. Is he going to wear chainmail next week? The four-way was fun. Dragon Lee continues to stand out. Mello and Waller should be good with the added wrinkle of the champion working babyface. And it should be stoppage to Battleground. So this is just like a TV special leading for that bigger match. Cora Jade throwing strays was okay, and her feud with Lyra hit the play button. I continue to be enamored by Sol Ruca. She's got upside. With the draft coming down the pike, does Bron move up? I can make the argument for him and the Creed boys. And give Dijak and Dragunov 20 minutes, and they will cook.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
I mean, yeah, Megan's got a point there. Like all the Scott Steiner stuff. Like, are we going to see him lean into that more? Is he going to have sirens, chainmail, huge big arms? But I still just like Braun teaming with the Creeds. It's something I still would like, but I don't know if we're in that direction.
And finally, we go to Sean, who says, good show tonight. Sign me up for heel Bron Breakker, but with a little less talking. That said, I love how everyone has just forgotten that Mello cheated to become champ. Good video package for Gigi Dolan, great matches between Sol and Tiffany, and it didn't even feel like it hit that next gear. Glad Cora's back, but that promo was too damn long. I would have loved for just about anybody other than Lyra to come out to interrupt it. She has not impressed me at all. Great four-way main event, Duke in particular really showed out, and I loved Waller stealing the win. Next week looks loaded as well. HBK has gotten this show on a heck of a roll.
Yeah, it's been an entertaining show, and I know people get a bit more interested because of this draft thing. Like, the Raw and SmackDown thing doesn't make sense, but it's a good way to have call-ups and different and new characters and stuff like that. And I do think there's a ton on this show that are completely ready and have had the full cycle, like we're saying, our Brons and Wallers, like, they've been to the main parts and the main stories. Like, there is nothing really else to do here than to go tango with some other characters. So that was NXT from Tuesday, April 11th, 2023. Thank you so much for listening to us ramble on and talking all about it. We do it every Tuesday night here on the Post Wrestling feed. Hit that subscribe, but hit that subscribe over on Poisonrana. Search that in your podcast app.
In your Poison
podcast app or YouTube, as we have lots of other shows that we do covering everything else, including AEW and all sorts of fun stuff. I mentioned over on our Patreon last week, we put out our best match ever, Rey Mysterio, covering everything outside the WWE. Over on our Poisonrana feed, the free feed, I'm going to drop our part 1 for free this week. So
nice.
If you want to check out all the matches that we reviewed, rated, and so forth, that we dissect the best of Rey Mysterio from WWE. So I'm going to put that on the free feed this week to let you get a little taste. And if you like that, sign up to the Patreon, because, hey, maybe Rey Mysterio isn't your bag, which would be wrong because he's one of the best ever. But maybe Mario Brothers is. So that's coming out this week. Lots of different podcasts over on that Patreon. So go check us out. All the podcasts, all the time, for your long walks, your long drives, whatever it is you do. Your long climbs up the CN Tower.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Yeah, we're getting in shape.
Are we?
No, we're podcasters. What is this?
We're just putting it off like we do everything, really.
Yeah,
And we'll figure it out on the day.
The morning of, we're like trying to get in shape. Yeah, that's what will be happening. Thank you, everyone, for out there for listening to us and supporting us. We cannot do this without you. So thank you. I myself, Braden Herrington, Twitter, Instagram, at the Bray D.
And you can find me at Davie Portman.
That's it. That's all. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe. And shout out Stone Cold Brooks Jensen. And I, too, don't like birds.
Ahoy!
First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking these things as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you can never really know what's up next.